For the last class of the English course level 3, we are doing a full course review. If you have your workbooks ready, please take it out and go to page 67, or you can download all the worksheets in the links below, or just use a blank piece of paper and write along as you go. Are you ready? Let's go! First of all, I'd like to say that if you've made it this far into the course, you're amazing and you deserve an award, and I hope you've had fun the whole way through. In the final class of this course, we have 4 worksheets to go through. Here are 2 worksheets and here are 2 worksheets. But before we get to the worksheets, let's have a full course revision of what we've learned every single chapter. Let's go. If at any point during the review you realize there's something you don't understand very well, feel free to go back to the previous lessons and watch the main lesson video again to refresh your memory. In chapter 1, we learned all about self-introduction, asking people when we meet them, and also answering the questions about ourselves if they ask. If you can do all of this worksheet, then you pass chapter 1. Chapter 2 is all about the long vowel sounds. You should be able to remember all the combinations that make the long vowel A, E, I, O, U sound. You should know the sounds that they make and how to read them and write them in sentences. If you can do that, you're amazing and you pass chapter 2. Chapter 3 is about telling the time in digital and analog way. If you can do both of that, as well as write them and read them, you're amazing and you pass chapter 3. Chapter 4 is where it gets tricky. Here we learn the possessive adjectives, so explaining who an object belongs to. The 7 possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, our, and their. And if you can use them all in sentences and understand what they mean, you're amazing and you pass chapter 4. Chapter 5 is all about hobbies. And if you can understand what all these hobby verbs mean, how to use them in sentences, and explain where you can do them, then you're amazing and you pass chapter 5. Chapter 6 is all about place nouns. So knowing all the different types of nouns, including all the countries, places in the city, school, and the rooms at home too. If you can use these place nouns in sentences, explaining what you can do there, what you can find there, then you're amazing and you pass chapter 6. Chapter 7 is where we learned superlative adjectives. In level 2 of the course, we learned comparative adjectives, and now we learned superlative, which means of the highest extreme. In this example, fast is the normal adjective, faster is comparing to, and fastest is the superlative adjective when comparing more than 2 in a group. If you can take any adjective such as good and bad, big and small, and then determine the comparative and superlative forms, and then you can use them in sentences too, you're amazing and you pass level 7. In chapter 8, we practiced the 5 common question words, how to ask questions with them, answer questions with them, and use them in sentences and conversation. If you can do that, you're amazing and you pass chapter 8. In chapter 9, we learned the prepositions of place and time, knowing when to use these words and how to use them. If you can do that and know how to use these prepositions in asking questions, answering questions, and describing things, you're amazing and you pass chapter 9. In chapter 10, we learned the grammar of verb to have. We learned how to make positive and negative sentences, as well as question sentences too, with all 7 pronouns. If you can do that, you're amazing and you pass chapter 10. In chapter 11, we learned the grammar of perfect tense, which is a verb tense that describes something that's been completed and finished. If you can use perfect tense with present, past, and future tense words, you're amazing and you pass chapter 11. After you've revised all the chapters, then you can go to the worksheet. In the first worksheet, you have to introduce yourself, you have to show your understanding of the long vowels, and then read and write these times in the spaces below. Page 2, you have to show your understanding of possessive adjectives, making sentences with all these possessive adjectives. Then you have to make sentences with the hobby verbs and place nouns to show you understand them too. In chapter 3, you have to make sentences with superlative adjectives, showing that you understand how to use them, and then asking questions for these following answers. Then you have to make sentences with all of these following prepositions of place and time, to show you understand how to use prepositions. And finally, in page 4, you have to make sentences with the correct grammar of verb to have, making positive sentences, negative sentences, and question sentences too. After you've done this, you have to show your understanding of perfect tense by making sentences with the following verbs in present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect tense. After you finish the 4 worksheets, you're amazing, and it means it's time to check the answers in the links below to see how many you got correct. Once again, thank you so much for doing the English Foundation course with me. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, I hope you've learned a lot, and most importantly, I hope to see you again soon. That's all for now. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.